So we're live now. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And sorry for the glitches. It was my fault here. And thank both of them for being patient, Dr. Ali and Jeremy for being patient with me. It's such a rough morning, but it's fine now. So welcome to this little talk, and I have two fabulous people on the screen with me here, and they have amazing journeys. And I would like Dr. Ali to start by introducing herself so we can do this and catch up with time.
Hey guys, I am Dr. Ali. I am an autism mom. I'm a startup biz coach, and I'm an audiologist and speech language pathologist with a 14-year-old bundle of fire called Zachary. I've been blessed to be his mom and to support others by writing a #1 bestseller, Aumazing Gift, The Journey to Autism Acceptance, and running groups where I can empower other autism moms on how they can shift from the negativity, shift from the stigmatism, and to empower themselves with knowledge and tools and still go after the things that they love in their lives. So that's where I am. I answer communication questions and personal parenting questions. And most lately, I've been focusing on helping them on stepping into the entrepreneurial path where you can use parenting and your experience with whatever gift you were given to align the aspects of being a special needs parent and your gift and go out there and empower others. That's what I do.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. Jeremy, would you like to tell us about your intro?
Yeah, hi everyone. Yes, absolutely. Look, I am a certified neuropsych practitioner, specializing in helping families and all ages on the autism spectrum through exercise, physical activity and movement. I also have a certificate in fitness instructing and personal training to get there and get fit with my clients as well and push them and put them through all various different challenges and stuff to really get these guys more motivated and their activity levels and provide all sorts of different holistic methods and techniques to try to integrate their wonderful brain and bodies. And I've been operating the Time to Train Asperger's program here in Australia for just over 10 years now, which I can't believe has flown by. Such an amazing journey it's been. But it's been humbling to program to all sorts of families, be able to travel around the world and deliver presentations and conferences and do all sorts of things, which is wonderful. And of course, meeting Dr. Ali over in the States was one of those delightful experiences. And we're all here just to obviously continue to spread great awareness, help as many families as we can, and give back to the autism community on some level. So it's wonderful to be here, Ruth. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. So I'll go right ahead with Dr. Ali. I want Dr. Ali to tell us about a little bit about Zachary and how she has done, because Zachary is such a wonderful boy. I always follow Dr. Ali's Zachary stories, and I really think as a mother, she's an inspiration to some of us. And I would like to hear how she did it, how it all started, just bits and parts, and what she did that has helped her, that can help me and other parents.
Absolutely. So Zachary, as I mentioned, is 14 years old. He was diagnosed officially a little bit before 3, around 3. But luckily, as a speech pathologist and an audiologist that have been working with early intervention, I saw the signs early. Didn't want to see the signs. So, when we see them doing the flickering in the lights, when he wasn't giving me much eye contact, and I saw a delay in language. I also saw that he was averse to touch. He was doing toe walking, all the things that I've learned in school that I was doing that checklist mark that us as moms don't want to see. I always say we feel it, we know it, and sometimes we either talk ourselves out of it being autism and taking them for evaluations, or sometimes we take them and the doctors tell us they're okay, and something in us still say, I don't feel like if they're okay. So I want to speak to both of those parents today. Um, what helped me the most with Zachary was identifying it early, knowing this is what it is and dealing with me. So as moms, we often feel guilt. We often feel shame. We often feel anger. We go through all of the stages of griefs and not in any order. Sometimes it happens, and guys, it still happens now, even as a professional. As now he's older, I still have moments where I may go through sadness or, guilt. However, what I learned is by empowering me and working on me and breaking down why I was feeling these ways and how can I just learn to accept him as him. I was trying to make him to be everything else and everyone else. I was trying to make a perfect child because he would do these things and these little quirky things, and I'm like, stop it. People are looking at you. Stop it. The things that society tell us that are not okay. I had to embrace myself, and I had to realize, wait a minute, you're kind of quirky yourself. And when I realized that I'm kind of quirky myself, I'm like, why am I trying to make him normal, quote unquote normal, when
Yeah.
I have learned to embrace myself? So I want to tell moms and parents out there, first, we have to embrace our uniqueness, which is in my book, Aumazing Gift. Once we start to embrace our uniqueness, then we can help our children to embrace their uniqueness. They're just different in a different, quirky way, right? And that began the process of, okay, so now I know this is what it is. Let's move through how do we start to help him? And once again, I'll always give this disclaimer. I am a professional in the field, so I was able to get him early intervention and get him the help that he needs. And whatever I didn't know, I would go and learn it. Second tip for you guys, what you don't know, go learn. Especially now in this digital world, we can turn on the screen and get information, and we may doubt ourselves and think, I'm not certified or I'm not a professional. This here, dong, I just made you a professional. Totally made you a professional. Like how everyone has become professional teachers now. Like,
Yeah.
I did not sign up for this teacher role. And we're all now professionals because we seem to think it has to have this doctoral behind us or something in order to do it. No, we just need to know some basic information to help our child move on to the next level. And if you don't know, ask questions, find people, find groups like this where you can get a little bit more information so you can help your child to be a little better and a little bit, gain a little bit more and become a little bit more independent each day. We're not looking for big, gigantic steps. We're just looking for nice micro moves. Now, I love Jeremy's program. You're going to hear about it now because movement is everything. So I'm going to let him talk to you about how he's helped other families.
All right, Jeremy, let's hear about you and how you helped other families and where you started.
Oh, well, thanks. Lovely little segue there. Love that, Dr. Ali. Beautiful. No, look, that's right. And to follow suit with what Ali's saying there is,
Yeah.
if you're a parent, then you're just starting to, learn or getting a diagnosis for your child, and you're just not too sure. It's very important to absolutely become an expert quickly as you can. And my mother, of course, when I was first diagnosed on the spectrum back in the 90s, when the term Asperger's syndrome, which unfortunately no longer is recognised by the DSM manual, unfortunately, but it was a diagnosis that was identifying me as a child that displayed many of the symptoms from very quirky type behaviour, very little routine, loved the structure, couldn't stand loud noises, and the rest. Begun an exercise routine, which was all about helping to improve things from the vestibular system right through to better coordination, balance, all these. We all, I think, need a bit more improvement of, if I do say so myself. And I guess through a change of diet as well, and being in the right supportive environment, wonderful teachers from school, a proactive, involved family from just grandparents, great friends, everybody involved. So a really good support network is really helpful as well. That's crucial. All these things really made a huge difference for me, and we saw some great natural change and transformation. I was able to integrate in a classroom, mainstream environment a lot easier. Rolling, I guess. So my teachers back in that he's gone from someone that just could not sit still, acting others and in his own world, to now with the classroom, one with all the others outside. And I knew I was definitely a different child, so I learnt very quickly that there was something very different about myself. But I was a very determined, very persistent, and really motivated to learn more about myself and my diagnosis and all the steps to try and obviously feel a part of the wider community. So one thing I definitely help families with, I suppose, is helping them to choice that suits them the best. For some parents and families, which I completely accept, we absolutely do want to accept their unique abilities and talents and who they are, their personalities, things like this. But we also, I think, want to promote and coach a path of, working towards overcoming a lot of the struggles and the challenges and difficulties that a lot of these guys on the spectrum do have challenges with. It's very important to recognise, I think, some of the daily struggles that they can have, which to a lot of other people out there just come so natural. And to provide that choice of, if you would like to learn or if you would like to improve and overcome and you'd like to certain things with the right support, believe that anything is possible. And I have in my program, I guess, seen some of those amazing transformations, children or even teens that have really struggled to do certain things have gone on to be able to finally accomplish. Not everybody can, but in some cases I have seen be unbelievable. So Time to Train is a program that is helping everybody, but it's really important that more and more families, I guess, have access to this sort of work. So I am trying to bring it over to the US and to hopefully the UK in the future, which would be very exciting. So that's it about the program.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. You guys are really, really inspiring. And I have a question for Ali. Was Zachary always a verbal child?
No. Well,
So, yeah.
if he wasn't always a verbal well, see, I'm on a speech. I'm gonna help you with the terminology. So
Uh-huh.
he always made sounds, and he was able to develop ability to identify things. At first, he went through the stages of pointing to things and he didn't have the words for them. So we helped him with learning words, but then he had difficulty with producing more than one word. Like some of our parents may have difficulty with him making the sentences. So around everything for him was delayed. So the always part is always kind of a questionable place, because at ages where he should have had language, he didn't. Right.
Okay.
At ages where he should have had words, he didn't. And that was my main concern, was like, okay, I know around this stage you should be making 50 single words.
Right.
And at that time, he was still making sounds only, and he was still in jargon, which is like baby talk. So at that time, it was like, let's get the early intervention. Let's see what we can help him with language. Once he did have language, I would always say maybe he was just delayed. It just wasn't at the same ages. So he's 14 now, and yes, we can have conversations, but is it the same level as you would another 14-year-old? Maybe not the same conversations. I would say he more functions around, a 9, 10-year-old, 10, 11 at times. So it's always been helping him to always move to the next step. So parents out there, instead of always thinking, okay, by 2 he should be doing this by 3. I know earlier you're very concerned, so yes, get them the help, but always work on trying to help them to get to the next stage of communication instead of the next age of communication. So far, and last week, in my Aumazing tribe group, I brought in some other speech pathologists. I truly believe in bringing in more therapists to help our parents, and they worked on children that were nonverbal on how to use their AAC devices, which is adaptive equipment devices, which is when they can't speak, how they can still communicate using words, but through a device. And in the United States, I don't know, I know you have people from all over, so I've got to distinguish that. In the United States, a lot of our children have access to that. You can also use iPads to help them to communicate. So we still can help our kids to be verbal. It's just
Right.
not
Yeah.
necessarily vocal verbal,
Yeah.
right?
Because I
So
know my son is still, I say pre-verbal, I don't say, because his expression is also a way of communicating.
yeah.
Um, so I always say pre-verbal, and I always I don't I just go with how he goes. I don't expect him. He's 11 to be. He's not there with the 11s, but I take him just where he is, because as a parent, we always want to try and fix, but we can't fix. We're not supposed to fix these things. We're supposed to work with them, because it's a journey. However, how much you want to fix things and make it better, we just have to be patient. How did you do it, Jeremy? Because I know you said you're diagnosed. What broke for you? At what age that you really found you are, accelerating up to where you are?
Oh, you're frozen, Jeremy.
Jeremy's frozen. Okay, I'll let Dr. Ali continue
Yeah, good
talking.
question.
Okay.
For me and my journey, oh no, oh yeah, having some connection difficulties, I think. Is
That's
that
okay. We
better?
can hear you. Yeah.
Frozen?
Yes, but we can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, we
Okay.
can hear you.
Um, okay, great. Me and my journey, that was, I guess, in my in my in my early 20s, I felt as though I could starting to really come together a lot easier. And I always had dreamed that for me, it was a sense of feeling sort of rich and free. And or any jackpot prize, the things to connect and that I'm able to understand most things now in life, a wonderful feeling that I look back when I was a child and think, gosh, if I didn't go through all the intervention training and the therapy, if I didn't go through any of that, I don't think I would be who I am today, and operating this program in the way that I have developed it. So I'm very humble and so fortunate to have had parents that were really, they were very intuitive to get the information, to push me through all the different exercises and the different therapies, to kept on that path, and to have wonderful supportive teachers, support out of school for learning. There was a lot of work that got put in, guys, and as the saying goes, you only get out what you put in. And I guess it was just icing on the cake when I had a phone conversation about 4 or 5 years ago. I spoke one of the Atwood, and I asked the question, I just don't seem to feel as though I'm struggling or having the same difficulties as those that are on the autism spectrum. And I think he worded it beautifully, saying that there are individuals that do seem to be able to lose the diagnosis or not meet the criteria through all various things. And you're just one of them, Jeremy. You've overcome that criteria through a successful career in life. And it really doesn't get much better than that. And that that is, that's not something realistically achievable for everybody. It just isn't. So I just encourage again a lot of families to just continue at your own pace, at your own journey, to keep doing the best to reach milestones or next overcoming the next challenge, whether that might be something from formulating more sentences, being able to read a little bit through a little more confident and coordinated, to just being a little bit more social even. So wherever you're at the journey, all those on the spectrum have the capacity and potential to do extremely well. They can live a good quality life with that support. And I always encourage to just make the best that you can, truly, because it's well worth it in the long run to see your loved one. And I'm sure you'd agree, Ali, that your son at 14, 15, you'd like to hopefully see that he could master even more skills by the time he reaches 20, 21, right through to 25.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love how you said to, see them where they're at and to just help them to the next milestone. And everyone has different paths on this journey. Like you, myself, Ruth, we all have a different path, and we just have to understand the same thing for our children, putting into them as much as we can. And like Jeremy said, his parents, this family, they put a lot into him. They gave a lot of time and resources. And at times we feel like we don't have resources, but we do. We have more resources than we think we do. Sometimes it's in our mind that we don't have resources.
Mm.
I used to do therapy with basic things in the house. I love doing therapy with basic things in the house because people expect me to come in when I did early intervention with speech with all these fancy gadgets. And I'd come in with like some pots and I'll grab some paper and I'll grab things in the house and I'll say, listen, let me show you what speech therapy can look like. That's real, right? And incorporating how you make language fun, and it doesn't have to be so complicated. And then what you don't know, jump on the internet, jump on Facebook, jump into groups like this that have support, get books. I have a very simple book that speaks about the journey and helps you with your mindset part, with acceptance. Just always stay learning. Always stay learning something else, because whatever you learn next, or getting access to people that can help your child next, will get them to that next milestone. It has to be you putting in some level of work. Some level of energy has to be put in so that you get a result back. And our difference is that it takes us longer for the result. And because we're in a Burger King world where we get everything, and no one gets credit, forgive me for mentioning any brand, but if everyone likes things right away,
Yeah.
we try things and we're like, oh, it doesn't work. How long did you try it for? Oh, a good week or 2 weeks. I'm like, that's not gonna work with our kids. Like, we need to try it for an extended amount of time. We have to try different ways of doing it, and we gotta get creative. We have to make it fun. Sometimes
Yeah.
we're so overwhelmed that whenever we're presenting to our kids or helping our children to learn,
Mm.
we end up getting angry with them and frustrated, and they're like, well, I don't want to learn it anymore because you're not fun. So really, really work on yourselves. I'm always going to come at that from an autism mom perspective, and as a professional and a mom, right? So once we regulate ourselves and we have fun, and when we need time out, take time out. When we need self-care, take self-care. When we need to just breathe, because Zachary, oh my goodness, he's in his teenage stage now, so we go through it now, right? So yeah, you want to know how he's doing? He is growing nicely. He's growing into now teenage things, and he feels he has an opinion about things. And the other day, he literally told me, Mom, I want to learn how to go to the store by myself.
Wow.
OMG, right? Um, And at this time,
Oh,
we were also dealing with racial tensions and dealing with some other stuff. And I had a personal breakdown, and I was sharing it with my parents. How now my concern is, being Black and autistic, right? And how we can help this conversation, and we can help him, and we can help police officers to start identifying movements with our children, because he wants to go outside. He wants to become more independent. And I'm scared on two ends. I'm scared, can he handle it? Can he handle it cognitively? And can he handle it if someone has to approach him, if he's in a
Uh-huh.
situation where other things are happening around him? I'm fighting so hard to empower our world on what autism is, why I would take a break. You guys know my life, and I know Jeremy's super busy also, and why I would take a break just to come in and talk to you guys out there that are listening, so that you understand that we have to get empowered so we can go out there and empower others and let them know what autism looks like, let them know how they can navigate into the world, and then help the other side, the law side, the legal side of what they need to know to help our children. We have to be the ones in the process. So however I can do it, if it requires being here, talking to you, letting you know, having access to me, I will put some ways of how you can get in touch with me or Jeremy. Just keep learning more, or Ruth, of course. You have access to her all the time. But for those, like, I shared this out to my pages, this is Ruth.
Yeah.
So if you
Wow.
want to know more, just keep learning more, and then keep implementing more, keep learning more, keep implementing more. And this goes for your work you're doing with your child, and it goes for the work you're doing with the world.
Yeah, actually, that last part of having our autistic son and boys, and being Black with what is happening, we had a discussion last week, and yeah, it's really, it's hard. It's hard small. You don't know how to. You're trying to educate people outside, but then you're afraid of having your child out there, because they might not have the social cues of how to behave when they're out there. So Jeremy, yeah. So Jeremy, I know we're about to wind up. I'll ask you and Dr. Ali to share where they can get whatever, either it's books or links, where they can get which links they can use, or how they can get your books or training. Is there a link? Is there a way to get to your books and buy them, or something? Or how can they share you?
yeah, absolutely. So my website would be pretty easy to find that on Google. Absolutely, check out the website, have a good read. One of the things I'll just point out real quickly is it's really important that parents really get that support. I said because it's hard to help mothers and fathers that they themselves might be on the spectrum with a lot of information, don't have the confidence or the skills themselves to perhaps socialize with others or network with parents. I'm thinking that it's through help is I have to put the child on hold to say, look, I think I need to actually help you. And I think, Ali, you would agree that you've helping the families and helping the parents to really reconnect or to understand more about themselves as a parent and being, and potentially someone on the spectrum themselves, to empower a parent first is really important, so they've got more direction and guidance towards helping their loved one, understanding, accepting, and picking different things that they can certainly work on to help. So my DVDs are available. They're always been fantastic, on the Time to Train website, timetotrainaspergers.com. There's also DVDs for teenagers as well, or for parents to watch their management right through to learning and understanding the importance of reciprocity and empathy, those sorts of things, which for some on the spectrum, they do have difficulties. So I understand that, people on the spectrum put their hand up to say, we don't struggle with empathy. Well, no, not necessarily true. They can have some challenges there if they've lacked the experience. So it's really important, I guess, to really understand and learn more about these things. Yeah, look, it's a pretty easy website to get onto and check that out. And Ali, I've got your book, which I have read. It's absolutely fantastic. I remember seeing you in the States there, and it was a real pleasure. And I hopefully get to come back over to the States and catch up again. That would be fantastic.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to get to Australia and I'm trying to get to Kenya and I'm trying to get out of America. You guys are
Yes.
trying to get in. I love it.
Yes.
As always, as always, Jeremy, great guy. You know, he has a genuine passion for helping families and kids, and I love the fact that he has something where I always think of Zachary, and I'll probably definitely be getting in touch with you because now Zachary's into the active and the movement stages, and how I can help him with helping other kids. Like I want him to really start getting empowered in terms of him being a leader. I'm trying to move him towards that direction. So I want him to be around other autistics or people who have been through autism that can help him to see being unique is still amazing. So you can definitely get in touch with me. My book is Aumazing Gift, A Journey to Autism Acceptance. I'm a bad coach right now because I really don't even have the book next to me.
I actually thought you would have it there.
I know, literally, because we were dealing with the other stuff. It's like way across the room. But I'll hold it up in a few minutes. But Aumazing Gift, A Journey to Autism Acceptance. You can definitely find it on my website. When you type in the word AU for autism and hyphen amazing, you'll find more stuff with me because I trademarked the word, and and on Amazon it's there. But most importantly, I also have a support group where we talk autism, and I'm able to answer questions and bring in professionals, and you have access to me. I'm super easy to have access without being super easy to have access. I try to make sure that if I can't give the answer, I can point you towards some other dynamic autism advocates out there and people who are empowering people. So if it's not me, I try to definitely keep really great connections like Ruth and Jeremy and other people that we can refer out. So I put the link in the group, and I put my Facebook page. You can find me everywhere at Dr. Ali Griffith. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest. It's all under at Dr. Ali Griffith. And if you have any specific questions, please definitely reach out inside the groups, because I'd say email, but it get lost in email. But inside the groups, once you're in the group and you speak to me, I give a lot of my attention inside of there because I figure it's a little bit more contained that I can answer specific questions. And of course, if you need me, get to Ruth, and Ruth will help you to navigate towards it. My parting words, because I got to jump off also, is you really have the power. You're more powerful than you think you are. Don't doubt yourself. Stop second guessing yourself. You don't know, but you do know. So start doing what you have to do to navigate this thing called autism. And definitely, whatever you do amazingly well, make sure you go back and you help others so that they can also go back to your prior self when you didn't know. So you can give them those tools and tips on how they can move forward. I'm always helping folks in moving towards entrepreneurship and to really holding on to their own gifts and power and talents, including our kids.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ali. Jeremy, your closing advice?
Well said. Look, never. I think from the great words of Rick Astley, never ever going to give you up. So that's the mentality of parents, is to continually show unconditional love, keep learning more, as we've talked about. Be your own self-expert on autism, and really get yourself out there networking with others, get as much information as you can, and then really choose your own path. Really understand the realities of your son or daughter, where they are at. Everyone's at different levels of their functionality, so please make sure that you be kind to yourself, and to be involved with your child. But if they're of that age, perhaps they step back there so that you're not so much of a helicopter parent, which parents want to get so protective and involved. I get it, but if they're of that age where you feel like you've got to take a little bit of a step back there and allow them to grow and have a bit more steps of responsibility and independence, do that as well. It's a very good thing. So I think I'll leave it on that note. Beautiful.
Thank you guys for joining me, and thank you so much for your patience. And I hope parents will listen to this, because you have left very, very encouraging, and you're empowering us. By just listening to you, we get empowered, and I hope we really pay attention to all what you guys are saying, because at the end of the day, it's our children. It's about our children. So I think we're gonna end this, and so happy to have this Dr. Ali and Jeremy join me today. So we're gonna end this, and I hope if you have any questions, they be sharing their links. If you want to buy their book, Dr. Ali's book that Jeremy said it's really amazing. Yeah, we're gonna have to look for it. So guys, thank you for joining in. Any questions, leave a comment under the video, and ciao.